It took place over a number of nights, and there are hundreds of witnesses of these strange lights up in the sky. There was television coverage, there was press coverage. The headlines read, you know, "Panico," the town panics when they see these strange lights in the sky.
We're going to Mexico hoping this is going to be it. This is going to be the one case that produces exactly what we're looking for and the evidence that we can show to the world to prove that UFOs are real.
UFOs exist. What is not certain is what they are. The Mutual UFO Network, or MUFON, watches the skies, investigating sightings soon after they occur. Their investigators use the tools of science, psychology, and law enforcement to get as close to the truth as the truth will allow. Unidentified flying objects definitely exist. Only their identity remains a mystery. The mystery of UFOs over Earth.
I think the first person that does find an image that is absolutely incontrovertible would probably characterize it as the holy grail of the UFO hunt. But you can't let the hunt for that grail, so to speak, cloud your mind.
With the prevalence of video cameras and cell phones and digital cameras, we're getting videos submitted to us all the time, but the question is, are they real or not? There are photos that we know have been hoaxed. There was a whole series of photos that made the rounds on the internet, what we call the drones, that our photo experts proved to be a hoax.
These are pretty good hoaxes. There's a lot of detail in the model. In fact, occasionally that gives it away because there's more detail than you would actually see at that distance in a craft. There's a number of different skill sets to creating computer-generated imagery. There's the building of the model itself, there's the lighting of it, and then you have the compositing, the actual taking of this image and marrying it to the original. It's getting easier and easier every year, I think, to create a very realistic-looking photograph. There's a chance that they will get by people.
So when we get a clear photo, it's important that we pursue it and that we analyze it, because it could be that one photo that proves that UFOs are real. We're going to Mexico to investigate these two cases, one of which is a photo case. We have a very clear photo of this UFO that was seen hovering over this house, and we sent it off to our photo expert, and in his initial analysis, he's seen no evidence of tampering.
One of the things I saw was that the bottom of the object has a reflection that kind of looks like a reflection of, say, a brownish roof-type line. And from the photography I've done over the years and looking at this object, it seemed to me that this object was also quite close.
We think it's a worthwhile case, it's worth pursuing, and the witness, the guy who took the photo, is willing to come forward and talk to us. So we have a live witness and we need to interview him. We have this other case in Mescala where the whole town saw this object fly over the town, stop on top of this hill, and disrupt the power in the town. Numerous witnesses, many of who took video. The concern I have about going to Mexico is that with all this reporting that we get from the country, there's no solid investigation going on. So we don't have trained investigators on the ground to sort of rule out what's been embellished and what's fact and what's fiction. So I'm a little concerned we're going to go down there and find out that some of these stories just don't pan out as we think they're going to.
That's part of the excitement of the UFO investigation, because we have to separate fact from fiction. We have to try to look at the science of it. But at a certain point, you know, there are things that are not going to be answered right away.
Mexico is this hotbed of UFO activity, but we don't know what's real or not, because there is this cultural fondness for the paranormal.
Televisa y Maussan Producciones presenta
In fact, one of the most popular shows in Mexico is Jaime Maussan's show, Tercer Milenio, which has to deal with the paranormal, and his promotion of the UFO subject is real. Jaime is a celebrity in Mexico. And we're going to go down and meet with Jaime because he's really our contact to get into Mezcala and also to investigate this case in Tepic. You know, I've known about Jaime for 10 years, but I've never met the guy.
Esta entrevista tiene lo suyo. Doña Josefina.
Les damos las primicias. Continuamos en Tercer Milenio.
That's why he does that. We do this. And we don't.
No, it's a long time, my friend.
Here in your studio with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for coming here.
Because Jaime's show is so popular in Mexico, people are sending him videos all the time, and he's collected hundreds of these videos.
This is a video by a Mayan, literally a Mayan Indian. And he recorded this object with a cell phone.
What year was this video?
12th of May, 2007.
Which is strange.
This video is from Orizaba in May 2007.
And he showed us an enormous number of videos. To me, it looked like just, street light reflections in the sky to unusual balloon-shaped things floating.
We have some beautiful pictures of the spheres, and this is from León.
I'm looking at these videos, and I have to wonder, how do they get so lucky? How can they get so many shots of UFOs? They can't all be unidentified. There's just no way.
Then you have them standing still, you have them moving together, you have them moving against each other.
Where do we draw the line between this passion for the subject and just being too willing to believe?
This case has been considered real.
Who took this video here?
This video is from Arturo Robles Gil.
Okay.
As you can see, it's very well recorded. He is able to follow the object without losing it for a long time. Here's...
This is the one from 1994?
Sí. This time the object is like dancing. Arturo is the one who has recorded more and better videos than anybody else in Mexico.
This was taken by
This was
Arturo?
taken by Arturo, 2006. You can clearly see that is an object that is a disc.
It's an interesting video from the shape and the fact that it appears to be traveling and inclining at the same time, tilting on some sort of axis.
Some of these videos are just incredible.
Can we meet Arturo?
Yes, you are going to meet Arturo.
So Arturo, have you seen something like this before?
Yes, I have seen these strange objects. Unknown.
Unknown,
right now.
An estimated 10,000 UFO sightings are reported each year. MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, chronicles these sightings, but only investigates those they consider credible. The following is an account of one such investigation.
There's a number of people throughout Mexico they refer to as a vigilante, which is a sky watcher. These folks dedicate themselves in filming anything that's odd.
So Ruben, where are we going first?
We're gonna be...
So you want to take us and show us maybe your office?
Yes, of course.
And then also we can go to your rooftop and we can observe with you?
Yes.
Arturo Robles is Mexico's top sky watcher, and he's Jaime's #1 guy. He supplies hundreds of videos to Jaime. And while I was in Mexico, there was no way I was going to pass up this chance to meet Arturo in person and see how he works.
The worm is a tubular object.
Tubular.
Large.
Of all the videos that Arturo has captured, the most striking are those that have these organic-looking objects that look like worms. He's achieved worldwide notoriety for these videos.
We can see how the worm moves his left part, and also we can see some kind of energy flow around the worm. It's strange. So this entity is not flying with the air because the way that the object fly has a perfectly direction.
Arturo, do you believe this to be an entity, a creature?
It's difficult to answer to you this, but seems to be.
These are not the worms, right?
No.
The videos that I've seen from Arturo are intriguing. But the way he describes these worm objects as being living creatures, that concerns me, because I don't know how he can tell that by just looking at the video. It's kind of hard for me to believe that Mexico City has that many UFOs flying over it all the time, and that just Arturo manages to film them. To clear this up, I asked him to show me where he's taking these videos, and he took me up to his rooftop.
I have a complete view of the whole city.
So these videos that we've been seeing,
Yes.
you've seen them over here?
Yes. Sometimes, if you are very lucky, you can see easy. It's an object. Do you see an object? Ah, no, this is a bird.
Where's the bird?
Did you see some object? Ah, yeah, I see. Yes, I see the object. I would tell you what is this. What is the need to make a focus? Yes, now I have see again. Yes, if you want, I can make a recording.
Go out all the way, wide. So Arturo, have you seen something like this before?
Yes, I have seen these strange objects. I'm going to make a zoom. And in my first opinion, this doesn't seem to be a group of balloons because the shape is different. There is the possibility that this could be, I don't know the name in English, trash. Trash, no.
What do you mean, like...
basura, ¿cómo se dice?
Yeah, garbage. Oh, okay, now you're seeing them, are they turning?
Yeah, that's interesting. But I can make another pause of this and see what we have. Oh, the detail is not too much. But at first glance, I will say that this is something strange, unknown,
Right.
You know.
I was interested to see Arturo's reaction to the strange object in the sky, because I knew what they were. They were a group of balloons.
We're right here at the store with all the balloons. We're going to release Mylar balloons. Perhaps Mr. Arturo Robles will capture these on his video and see what sort of reaction we will get.
So the thought was to go put Ruben off in a park about 10 blocks away and release a bunch of balloons just so we can have something up there that Arturo could notice and just to sort of get his real live reaction.
Houston, we have a liftoff.
It's an object. Do you see an object? In my opinion, seems to be strange. I am not sure if this object could be or not a balloon. I don't know.
Arturo is the collector. He's the guy who captures these images on video. But it's Jaime who sits down at his computer to analyze them. So if we wanted to find out how these investigations are handled in Mexico, Jaime's the guy we needed to talk to.
You don't have to stop talking, my friend.
So again, we were looking for the chain of evidence that goes in from collection to analysis. Jaime, we went to Arturo's house yesterday because we wanted to watch him do his sky watching.
Yes.
But at the same time, we wanted to know if he could distinguish what a lot of people think are balloons in the sky. You know, we wanted to be honest, we wanted to be upfront with him. We told him right off the bat about the experiment that we did with Arturo.
Jaime and I are friends for many years. I was a little concerned how he would interpret this. It put me in a little awkward position.
He saw the balloons. He couldn't identify them through his camcorder.
I think what is important around the videos from Arturo is that they are very well recorded, and it's up to us, the investigators, the ones who have to analyze. He's not an analyst. He is just a cameraman. Some of his videos are excellent. They can be presented anywhere in the world. I understand, and many times he had sent me things, and I say, no, I don't like these. They move like balloons. I don't know if they are balloons or not. They move like balloons.
Based on Jaime's analysis of the video, these were balloons. We were feeling a little bit better about his ability to discern what's real and what's not.
He's not asking for money, doesn't want any fame. He sent me more pictures. The photographs look genuine.
None of those pictures, the dates and the times, match up to what he's telling us.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to tell James. James, sounds like our plans are changed.
The object living with the same characteristics.
I think with pictures like this, what you're going to see is that because they're so clear, you're going to say those are too good to be true. And so it's going to be really important for us to be able to establish the identity of the witness who took them. Getting 3 additional photos from our witness in Tepic was incredible, literally. Was it possible that one guy could take that many clear daytime photos of a UFO? It just sounded too good to be true.
He's not asking for money. He doesn't want any fame. He's not looking for anything. At the beginning, what I have felt is that he is real.
This guy might be very naive or very lucky just being there capturing these objects. We'll find out.
Tell us everything from when you took the first photos to the second photos, from everything. Just tell us everything.
Okay. Aquí.
Por aquí.
No, aquí.
Aquí.
Es que...
A ver, pásale.
Look, out service.
Sí.
Sin servicio. No agarra señal celular en todos los lugares.
Sí.
Entonces yo me vine a enviar un mensaje a mi novia. El perro estaba ladrando y se oía una especie de zumbido. Lo que hice yo fue parar esto y voltear, y allá fue cuando se vio el objeto. Entonces lo que hice fue salir. Tomé 1, 2, y el objeto se fue desplazando hacia este lado. Entonces me hice más atrás y en el bote me paré y estiré el brazo para poderle tomar.
La tercera.
Carlos took 3 pictures, and several days later, he was able to capture more additional pictures of an object flying higher in elevation.
Una de las fotos fue tomada así hacia arriba. Después me subí a la azotea ahí donde está el tinaco y le tomé otra. El objeto se desplazó hacia allá.
Carlos, a question. What did you think it was?
En ese momento no piensas qué es o qué puede hacer, sino simplemente lo vi y me impresionó.
When James Carrion sent me a number of photographs from the Mexico case, I noticed that, you know, when you bring up the data associated with the image, which is that EXIF data we always go to, the most important thing is the date and time. In rare cases, this time can be wrong, but I'm not convinced it happened in this case. You see, this was apparently shot May 11th, 2008, just shy of 11 a.m. The only thing that's kind of weird is that in this particular case, one was shot about an hour later. and then another one a short time after that.
Carlos, you have your cell phone? See? Okay. Can you find the photos? How much time, when you took the photos, how much time from the first one to the second one?
En lo que me subí, igual, minuto y medio, dos.
Okay, 1 or 2 minutes. Something sort of went off in me that, okay, something's wrong here. He's telling us that he took these photos 1 minute apart. What he's telling us in his testimony is not matching up to what we're seeing in the photo data.
This was a good shot right here. I like this. I noticed that there is reddish-brown reflections in the bottom of the craft. What that did was that made me think that this craft was actually a real unidentified flying object hovering over the roof. The reason I have suspicion at all has to do with the next picture. It looks like the same object. I said, that's cool. I like this. I ended up zooming in on this object, and here you see it. And then I did some image manipulation on it. And when you do that, this is what you're left with. You can actually see this square. Within the square, the pixels surrounding this object seem to show much more variation and detail than pixels surrounding other objects in the same photo. This is not how an image would appear. And I can tell you there was a palpable sigh in the room when this happened. I went, oh. This was part of another picture. It was cut out and pasted in right into this picture. And as far as I'm concerned, if they fake one, they're going to fake another.
The next thing we had to do was confront the witness. We had to confront Carlos and just put it out there and see what his reaction was going to be.
I believe in Carlos, in the human aspect.
There's some serious holes in this story. He didn't really admit that he had tampered with the photos, so we don't know what to make of that.
All MUFON investigators are volunteers. Their full-time occupations range from police detectives to computer graphic designers to aeronautical engineers. They bring their skills to each investigation.
Carlos, you have your cell phone? See? So knowing that photos have been tampered with, we had to confront Carlos. You know, I have my poker face on because we would never betray to a witness, you know, what we're thinking in terms of what our foreknowledge is. We'd like to show you some of the preliminary analysis we did on your photos. So this is the first photo. Every time you take a photo with a digital camera, your camera records the date, the time that the photo was taken. So one of the things that we notice is that on this first photo that you took, the photo was taken May 11th, 2008 at 10:59 a.m. Now, if we look at the second photo, it was also taken on May 11th, 2008 at 11:47 a.m. It's a difference. It's a difference of 48 minutes. But you told us during your sighting that this only took 1 minute to happen. You took 3 photos in 3 minutes. But the camera is telling us that these 2 photos were taken 40-something minutes apart. Same day, but not at the same time.
¿Y no podría haber alguna alteración?
No, not unless it was purposely done.
Porque no fueron tomadas con ese lapso de tiempo de diferencia.
Okay. Well, that's what the information's telling us. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the second set of photos that you told us were taken 3 or 4 days after that. This shows the pixelation of the photo. You can see it's uneven throughout. The problem is around the object itself, you can see a very square pattern. See how even small these pixels are? Perfectly around the object? But nowhere do you find a square of that size anywhere, which is consistent with what we see in photos that have been tampered with. But
Enviar un mensaje a mi novia. El perro estaba ladrando y se oía una especie de zumbido. Tomé 1, 2 y el objeto se fue desplazando
why we have these squares in here?
Those are just the pixels. Those are just the other pixels in the picture.
Couldn't be this a pixel?
No. I presented all the data to Jaime, and despite all of that, Jaime wanted to still believe Carlos's story was true and that he was being sincere and honest with him.
I have to say that on the human side, as a journalist, 37 years, I believe in Carlos, in the human aspect. I don't understand. It's very confusing for me, the results of the technical. I think we have to go into further and to have a final conclusion on this.
But we're dealing with anecdotal testimony right now versus a very technical analysis that's actually fairly basic. None of those pictures, the dates and the times, match up to what he's telling us. That's just the basic analysis. And then combine that with the analysis from our expert, and I think we have a problem. Jaime's a reporter. That's what he does. He produces this TV show that's seen all over Mexico. So here we're dealing with what Jaime wants out of the phenomena versus what we want out of the phenomena. So we're sort of butting heads at times because in terms of what we do, we have got to cover all of our bases. And Jaime has no incentive to do that.
¿Estas imágenes son verdaderas?
Sí.
¿Cómo podemos saber que son verdaderas, Carlos?
¿Cómo podemos saber que son verdaderas? Bueno, pues yo siento que las imágenes hablan por sí mismas. Yo las tomé. No soy una persona que mienta, no soy una persona que esté metida en, digamos, cosas ilegales o relajos, ¿sí? O sea, siento que tengo credibilidad para poder decirles que son verdaderas.
We've gone as far as we can with Carlos because we're convinced that these photos are not real, but Carlos is sticking to his guns. But Jaime is convinced that we're wrong. In fact, he wants to bring in his own photo expert to analyze them. Hola, Guillermo. ¿Cómo estás?
¿Qué tal?
Mire, gracias.
Yo llegué en una imagen, yo llegué a la misma conclusión a ver esas distorsiones que hay alrededor. Pero eso a mí no me indica que sea una sobreposición. Entre más lejos tengas tú un objeto a fotografiar, mayor es la cantidad de yagues que vas a obtener.
Jaime, I'm no expert here, but to me this looks inconsistent. You would think if this object was against the clouds, that we wouldn't see a square pixelation. We would see all white, just like we're seeing all white with the clouds.
Yeah, that's what I would expect to, but it seems that he thinks the opposite.
I wasn't impressed with Jaime's photo expert. It's obvious to anybody looking at that it looks to be that it was put in there purposely, that it's not a natural effect from the camera.
La única bronca y que es irrelevante para mí es el hecho de la fecha del exilio. Porque si un día este chavo se le descargó el teléfono, lo que sí te puedo decir es que la fotografía es auténtica, ¿sí? Independientemente de la fecha. Ahora, acuérdate que estamos hablando de entidades muy inteligentes y muchísimo más superiores que nosotros que pueden manipular los aparatos y pueden manipular las mentes. ¿Hay o no plástico en la imagen? Para mí no hay plástico.
This is a photo expert. Well, if these beings are so powerful that they can fly across the galaxies, I'm sure they could alter the EXIF data of photos. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Jaime, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think Carlos thought it would be fun to hoax these photos and get on Jaime's show. And if it had not been for our investigation, he would have gotten away with it. We sent the photos to a non-MUFON photo expert who agrees that the photos were tampered with. Are they in the order in which you put them?
Se bajó la luz.
Había pánico, estaban asustados. That was just amazing. One of the best pieces of evidence I've ever seen. We're headed up to Escala to investigate a mass sighting.
What brought us down to Mexico originally was the size and scope of this story.
What we knew about what happened in Mescala was based on this newspaper report that came out that talked about the events of those 3 days. The reports coming in said they saw this object fly over the town and then stop up on the hill. As the newspaper article recounted, creatures on the ground.
The Mescala sighting is very unique because it's one of the few sightings where an entire town came out to witness an event. Everyone did see a light. Whatever it was, it excited them, it got them out of their houses, and it got them talking about it for weeks after it. But we don't know what that was.
I found it fascinating that there was this direct electromagnetic effect caught on video that showed this light and its direct effect on the power in the town. I don't think it's ever been captured on film before. So to me, that was just amazing. It was you know, one of the best pieces of evidence I've ever seen in terms of electromagnetic effects. We started our investigation by first meeting up with the mayor of the town.
Amigos del Discovery Channel, vienen a investigar. Aquí miren, aquí en esta dirección, en esta parte donde está el cerro puntiagudo, ahí atrás donde está la sombra, ahí se miraba el fenómeno. Este fenómeno duró 3 noches. Sin embargo, hubo personas que lo grabaron en el día. Era una esfera así plateada que se miraba en el día.
¿Había pánico? ¿Estaban asustados? ¿Tenían miedo?
Sí, mira, lo que pasa, ahorita a ver si viene una de mis sobrinas, porque inclusive sí, la niña pues lloró. Pues.
Sí.
Levántame estos, ¿no? Pues es lo que no sé.
Comencé a grabar y me daba un poco de miedo, sí, porque nunca había visto nada como eso.
The idea we came up with was to build an animation based on the stories of what had happened in Mescala and show this to the town as they gathered together and use this as kind of an icebreaker to get people talking. It was probably the most rustic accommodation we've ever had for trying to build some kind of animation on a computer. It was very far removed from an animation studio.
We wanted to show this animation to the townspeople to get their reaction, to see whether or not they agreed with the animation, or they agreed that the object had flown over the town. Estamos muy agradecidos que están aquí con nosotros hoy. ¿Cuántos de ustedes se recuerdan de esas noches? Estaban aquí cuando la luz apareció allí en la montaña. Okay. Ahora le vamos a enseñar una película corta y queremos saber si lo que van a ver ahora se parece a la luz que vieron esas noches. ¿Ustedes vieron la luz que estaba en la montaña? ¿Usted sí?
Ya se veía el reflejo así como grande. Era una cosa inmensa, una cosa grande.
People just told us is that the animation was a complete failure. ¿Pero vieron una luz que volaba sobre el pueblo?
No. Ya cuando cayó.
Solo
estaba en el cerro.
O que estaba en el cerro, estaba en la montaña, sí, pero no lo vieron aquí en el pueblo.
No, aquí en el pueblo no, en la montaña.
Okay. Basically, what they were telling us is that the object did not fly over the town. Pero estaba fija en la montaña. Okay.
It let us know that we were getting to the reality of the situation. We weren't building a fable around UFO sightings.
Pero ya, ¿y qué crees que era?
Pues es lo que queremos saber, qué cosa es lo que queremos saber. ¿Qué cosa fue? ¿Usted qué cree? No, pues yo qué voy a creer. Yo soy analfabeta, ni sé.
So at this point, we're thinking, okay, we don't have a classic UFO on our hands. All we have is this bright light up on the hill that's having a direct electromagnetic effect on the town.
It's now a light on a hillside. It's nothing flying. I think the animation helped us separate the fable from the reality, and our task becomes to figure out what were these people seeing on the hillside.
Luckily, the town of Mescala is small, and it's not hard to find people who saw this thing.
Fui y en ese instante apareció así que la bola de luz. Le quise tomar así que la foto, no me dejó.
Sí, por ahí, mire, donde... ¿Sí alcanza a ver una cosita café de ahí, de la casa esa?
Sí.
Esto fue, yo digo, para mí, algo sobrenatural, como cuando usted ve que se ilumina porque va a venir un rayo así. Así.
Muchas gracias. As we're meeting these witnesses, they started describing a very strange and weird experience. ¿Tú viste la luz también, no?
Sí, yo me di cuenta de la luz el día primero en la noche, pero hasta ahí ya no nos dimos más cuenta, te digo, si había algún objeto, algún que saliera disparado, no nos vimos nada, era la pura luz que se resplandecía.
En el periódico de Chilpancingo leímos que la gente del pueblo dijeron que cuando ellos vieron esa luz, que les irritaba los ojos.
Yo no tuve ningún tipo de pacientes que se hayan quejado de problemas oculares o que les lloraba el ojo o se les ponía rojo, no.
Okay. So we sort of whittled down all the sensational elements of the story down to this one light. And, you know, at that point, this little hypothesis we were forming in the back of our minds about some problem with the power grid started to come into focus.
We've decided to go back to what we know. What we know is the video that aired on Mexican television.
¿Has visto este video?
Sí.
Sí.
Now, this is the video that shows a camera first pushing in on one bright light, and then later we're going to see a whole string of lights. Here we go.
Esa toma, esa la hizo el señor Oscar Franco. Parece que esa toma la hizo arriba de su azotea.
Okay, he said this video was also taken from a rooftop, so he's wondering maybe he was looking down and caught some of the street lamps as well. So maybe later on...
Do we know what roof that was shot from?
¿De qué casa fue?
De esta parte. Sí, ahorita le mandé a hablar por el señor Oscar Franco, pues, pero como no.
Ir ahorita.
Some people say that when they tried to film it with the cell phone, like the cell phone went off.
Right. You didn't experience any of that as well?
No, nothing of that.
Why don't we look at the video and you can maybe tell us what was happening in the video, who was with you, and just walk us through it.
¿Cómo se ve, güey? Como medusa. ¿Ya viste? Well, you can hear the people saying, oh, look at the lights, they're dimming, look at the lights, they're dimming.
Right here.
See, you can hear that.
Oscar's this very intelligent kid, and he was a complete skeptic. I think he was intrigued, just as we were, with the footage, but at the same time, he was looking for some sort of logical explanation for what it could be. What do you think that everybody here in town believed that this was a UFO?
I don't believe in that kind of stuff.
So you're saying you still don't believe in it?
No, I don't believe in that kind of stuff, and I'm pretty sure it was a transformer that blew up. Not a transformer, it was just cables. Right here.
And this exact spot right here?
Yeah, I was standing here with my digital camera, just filming up there.
So, Oscar, can you point exactly where you thought you saw the light?
If I remember correct, yes. You see the last tower with the electrical power line?
Yeah, I see all of the power lines going up there.
Maybe somewhere around there, I don't know. We can figure out by the street lights and see exactly where the light was.
So we thought, okay, now what we need to do is to bring in somebody who's a power grid expert, take a look at where this light was at, try to match up shots, and tell us, could this possibly be something related to the power lines?
If power is being delivered to a short circuit, it's not being delivered to the lights.
Where we want to solve it, other folks want to perpetuate it.
MUFON annually investigates an average of 5,000 reported UFO sightings. Approximately 85% are dismissed as either misidentification of natural phenomenon, man-made activity, or deliberate hoax. 15% remain unexplained.
Through proper investigation, we were able to narrow down to just the basic fact that what we're dealing with is a single object that was close to the power lines. So we thought maybe there was some direct relationship between the power grid and the UFO.
We feel if we can get some good daytime shots and superimpose the video that aired on Mexican television. On top of that, but we can now approximate where these lights were, and let's find out where that big glowing light finds itself in the landscape. This is far from conclusive, I think, but I think the photographic evidence shows that light was somewhere up on the hillside near where the power lines connect. So it gives our investigation a new twist, but I think it's time to start looking into the power supply coming into Mescala.
We needed to find out what had occurred in Mescala, and we came to a resource, Mr. Charles Fetterman. Charles has had over 47 years in the electronic energy industry. He really knows what he's talking about.
What it appeared to me was a spot source of electrical energy, a high energy source, like coming from power lines, 115,000 volt type power lines. It is a light, but it's varying degrees of color from blue to white, and it does impulse. It flickers on and off. That's indicative of a short.
What would cause this kind of arcing?
A limb just has to reach from one conductor to the tower, which is grounded, to cause a short.
Could this arcing last for this amount of days?
Well, the smaller the limb, the quicker it goes out. I understand this went on for more than a day, several days, and therefore it took some time to burn out.
We noticed there was light fluctuation going on. Is that pretty common?
That would be consistent with a intermittent short. When we see the illuminated spot get brighter, we see the light in this village get dimmer.
I appreciate the passion and the openness that the Mexican people have for UFOs. But ultimately, all of our cases turned out to be man-made, either accidental or intentional.
The hope in any UFO investigation is you're going to find that one shred of irrefutable evidence that takes the whole investigation of UFOs to the next level. That's still eluding us, but there's the next story.
The way I see it is that with UFOs, with this phenomena, there are those of us in MUFON who want to solve this mystery. That's our goal, is to come to some sort of conclusion what this phenomenon is about. There are other folks out there that want to perpetuate the mystery. That's their goal. Their goal is to keep the subject and the mythology alive. That's where we have this conflict of interest, where we want to solve it, other folks want to perpetuate it.
Where's the bird?
No, you mean the object?
Yeah. What object?
Someone had labeled this a morphing UFO, but these are the balloons that we launched in our experiment. And in the background, you could hear the voices. You could hear James and the other crew, the other investigators.
Doesn't seem to be a balloon.
That's funny. I can't believe this. And some of the remarks, I can't believe it, that people would believe this is a morphing object. These people are going to have a rude awakening.